There are three questions I'd like to work with, and the first one is just a very general. What was your response to that?
Moved me right into my heart.
I certainly saw an engagement, and it felt like there was good energy here with that. How was it for you to be a listener? What were the experiences for you? What was going on in your mind as you listened to the other person?
Listening for the connections. It wasn't fragmented, it was a flow. Everybody in our group had a flow of things really not running into it, sliding into one another and making a whole.
I felt an underlying social contract of immediate caring. It was just there immediately.
I really liked the added intentionality of listening to write down and actually identify the gifts. I think I may unconsciously do that when I listen to people, but I really liked being asked to name it. And I'd like to use that again.
I thought it was exciting too. Like I looked forward to hearing from people. There was, for me, I don't know, an element of anticipation because it's such an interest. I don't know. It's an interesting question, and I was curious to hear people's stories. So right away, it just felt like me for something else.
Did you notice any overlap or similarities, and also differences in from you and what the other person who was listening?
Yeah. One thing that I actually am aware of is that each of us talked about the things that brought us joy involved taking risks. There was risk in every story. That's part of the excitement, I think.
Probably my biggest takeaway was how different the feedback was between the two different feederbackers. And what that says to me about like a clearness process. You can't get a complete picture. It takes a lot of perspective to get a complete picture.
Please.
I just had a real sense of appreciation for each of the people that I was listening to. One being my partner, who I appreciate enormously already, and the other being Tricia, who I think I've talked to on the phone but have never met face to face to my knowledge. And just that it deepened the relationship that was already there. And I just, I met Tricia just a few minutes ago, and I really like her. She's great. Just really connected.
As we were reflecting, I was thinking about what struck me was that our listening to each other is a form of communion. And then that word communion, community, and that wonderful community. We, the three of us are already engaged in CPMM. We know each other quite well, but there is always the ability to, when we listen deeply, to appreciate even more.
One of the things that I want to lift up is that we don't have to know the other person well. We have something here that tells us about the other person when they're giving messages and symbols and signs and all kinds of gestures, telling us what their gifts are. And I suspect some of you picked up on that, being able to do that. And that's what, Chris?
Oh, so I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was ready to.
Well, don't do it again.
I noticed that the three of us had in common, that the sharing we did had in common that we were experts in an area that we used to build community.
Very good.
There were 3 stories about that.
Let's take the question now and asking you to share, how was it for you to be affirmed? That's the hard question. I recently have been traveling, some of you might know that I travel among British friends, and a month ago I was in Wales. It's the first time I've ever had this response, no, I won't share. From the whole group.
Ooh.
So, that was a real challenge. But I'm asking you, and I have trust that you, I know there's some people here that
They
have no
wouldn't share
trouble.
on this point?
Yes, they would not
They would
share.
share on other things.
Right, it's the culture in terms of you don't talk about yourself and what your gifts are. And I want to push through that here in terms of asking you, how did it feel to be affirmed in your strengths or your gifts? Sally, you can't wait.